Hey everybody, it's me again, Kale, here once more, playing Xenogears. And last time we left off, we were about to save Ellie. And then her hair turned purple and she shot Faye. Krallian stood back up after being stabbed by Ramses, who had previously killed Miang. And now Ellie's about to go take care of the evil villain monologue to explain, everything, hopefully. Please, take it away, Ellie. This dais, the one you call God, is an interplanetary invasion weapon system that was built in ancient times by humans from another planet. It was created as an automatic weapon which could act upon its own will to take control of a targeted planet. You should have known this much from looking at the Razel records. Anyway, during a test run, Deus became uncontrollable. It released its power and annihilated a whole planet. The creators of Deus found its immeasurable power to be too much of a threat, and hence forcibly shut it down. In order to analyze the cause of the problem, its core was dismantled and placed on an interplanetary immigrant passenger ship to be transported to another planet. Becoming aware of this, the disassembled Deus resisted. It tried to take over the passenger ship that was transporting it. However, the last line of defense against the escape of Deus, its creators unexpectedly destroyed the vessel, sending it crashing to this planet. Deus knew that it would not be able to get away in the explosion or the imminent impact, so it detached its core from the Zohar power reactor. Zohar? Yes, Zohar. It is what drives all the gears on this planet. It is the master generator that transmits its energy to the slave generators in our gears. It is also the source of all ether power that the inhabitants of this planet utilize. By utilizing the energy displacements caused by actualizing the potential future phenomenon. Man, I'm getting bombarded with all that sci-fi mumbo-jumbo. Fantastic. No notes. This Zohar modifier has the ability to produce infinite amounts of energy. Then why are we still fighting? Source of all our aether power. You're saying all our energy comes from that one power reactor? Yes, but there is more. The core that was detached from Zohar. The biological computer, Katamani, crashed onto this primitive planet. It activated Persona, its life support plant, that could generate organic material. Using this, it prepared for itself a genetic-based system for the day when Deus would be resurrected. Thus, the first humans were created from there. Emperor Kane and the elders of the Gazelle Ministry. You saying the Emperor and the Gazelle geezers are people born from Deus? Do you know why the Gazelle Ministry desire the anima relics in your bodies? Here's the reason. Before becoming human, the bodies of the Ministry were once part of the organic elements in the core circuit that made up Deus. There were two types of organic elements. The female type called anima, and the male type called animus. They were also created with the added ability to become mobile weapons by merging with machinery that was suited for use as terminal interface weapons for Deus. In other words, those Omni-Gears that you were using were one form of such weapons. Sorry, cold reading can be a lot. The Ministry, which were Animus, were to become one again with their separated anima at the time of the resurrection of God. But in a war 500 years ago, they all lost their physical bodies. It was then that they decided to extract their own genetic factor from certain individuals, their human descendants, who carried the appropriate sets of DNA. Also, each of them could become one with their respective anima again. Descendants? Then we're all... Yes. You humans are all descendants of Cain and the Gazelle Ministry. They were born from the persona, gave birth, and propagated. They followed their inbuilt program to someday resurrect the heavily damaged Deus. All the people in the world were created solely to resurrect Deus? Yes. But it wasn't just to restore its old body. More than half of Deus is constructed of biological parts. You remember those mutated humans? Those are all people who were destined to become replacement parts for Deus. We humans are parts for God? Yes. Almost all the people are destined to become parts for Deus. You people gathered here are all different. You could say you escaped that destiny by existing through multiple generations. In actuality, there wasn't enough parts for Deus. But Krellian compensated for what was lacking. The reduction in the number of parts was due to humans living through multiple generations. That deficiency in the human factor was made up for by the nanomachines created by Krellian. Not only that, but his nanomachines added additional functions. Deus has thus evolved into the perfect weapon. Ellie. What's happened? Why do you know all this? I am Miang, the Keeper of Time, the representative of our god Deus. I was born to guide the people toward the path of the resurrection of Deus. That's ridiculous! Miang was just... You're limited in your ability to understand. Miang's factor exists within all women. The one who transcends the generations. The caretaker of humans. When the previous one dies, somewhere another Miang is awakened. It is programmed into all women. All women's DNA that way. Who inherits the duty? It's just a matter of probability. Okay. That Miang over there and I are the same existence. We are all parts of Deus. All caretakers of humans. Let us end this discussion now. Deus is awakened. I am one of the parts that composes Deus, and so must become one with it. Ellie! Why did it have to be you? Miang is a part for Deus. Why did it not happen earlier? It's still not enough for her to just have awakened. Although she may be Miang, she still isn't the true Miang. True Miang? Let's go, Krellian. All that is left to do is to vanquish the planet's civilization and return it to how it was. Then I can complete my unification with the final fragment of Deus, the Zohar modifier. The power reactor that fell upon this planet and became our genesis. And now, our apocalypse. The eradication of civilization. What is the purpose of doing that? Who knows? The creations of God will someday be a hindrance. That is why they must be eliminated. I am just programmed to act in this way. Come. It is time for the awakening of the true mother. Please, Ellie, wait! Farewell, Faye. May you have a peaceful awakening. Bro, I don't mean to stop you trying to be heroic and all that, but you're bleeding out. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. Oh, is it submerging? Oh no, it's getting lost in the sauce! Ellie! Wait! Faye! You're bleeding out! Do not release the system! Sidon, wait! We're only endangering ourselves. Let's get out of here for now! He just jumped in! Yes, and he's done crazy things before! I can't argue with that logic. I want to, but I can't. Oh. That didn't look good. Oh no, they're burninating the countryside. Episode's not quite over, but sure. Oh, I'm the main character again! Rarely this happens, but every time it's great. Alright, take it away, Citan. Yeah, we still got time. God. The interplanetary invasion weapon Deus had awakened its arc. Markava was activated. Deus began to absorb, one after the other, the mutated people, destined to be its parts. The non-mutated would eventually become a threat to it. To exterminate us and our civilization, it set into action. Man, how cool would this have been? Could have been like, you know, running through the streets, blowing shit up, fighting off crazy overpowered angel things. This would have been cool! And tragic! The planet's surface was devastated. Amakava, and the weapons born from out of it called Seraph Angels. While pursuing the newly awakened Deus, we chanced upon Faye. That could have been a whole thing too! Whose whereabouts had hitherto been lost, along with his gear, Weltall. Discovered together the place where Markava was originally located. That could have been a whole thing. A heartfelt reunion. You know, we could have had a whole no Ellie, no Faye moment, like dungeon or two, and or event or two. Hard to say. I'm not a game developer. That being said, it's technically a DM by nature is a game developer. Anyway, for some unknown reason, we were overjoyed by Faye's return. It was short-lived. For some unknown reason, Faye was found in a state of suspended animation. He did not regain consciousness. The people of Shavat and ourselves feared a relapse of Faye's... id's power, and had no choice but to put Faye into... carbonite freeze. We're going to freeze him in carbonite! Your Majesty, why do the people of Shavat fear Faye so much? Even if Graf and Id's power are comparable, it is not that we fear him. We fear the error we ourselves committed. Now we are simply trying to put a lid on it. The error that you yourselves committed. Shavat instigated a battle 500 years ago to gain our independence from Solaris. However, we became overcome with the lust for power. Fearing the war-torn people's will would no longer be with Shavat, but with the Nissan Mother. With the people who assemble under Sophia. The Council of Elders of Shavat back then made a deal with Solaris. A deal? Yes. At the time, Solaris, the Gazelle Ministry, to be exact, were at odds with a woman who held the real power behind the scenes. Well, that happened to have been Miang. Most probably it was. Fearing the increasing power of the masses assembling in Nissan, the Gazelle Ministry schemed to hand over to us their antagonist, Miang, and promised a division with rulership over the Earth's surface. But in exchange, we had to give them the rebel army that had assembled in Nissan, and also their patron, Sophia. The leaders of Shavat accepted, and it was decided that Nissan would be the location of the final decisive battle with Solaris. Shavat did not participate in that battle. Thwarted by the awesome number of the Solarian army, and with their path of retreat cut off, the Nissan rebel army ran out of options and was destroyed. Caught up in the middle of all this was Lacan, Art's ancestor Ronnie, myself, and Krelian. You were also there. Yes. Surrounded on all sides, we were prepared to die. And the rebel force's flagship appeared with Sophia on board. She sacrificed herself so as to create a path for our retreat. Sophia's ship headed straight to the enemy's main ship on a suicide attack. Looks like it was successful, at least. If tragic. And a little grainy. Thanks to Sophia's sacrifice, we were able to survive. But her death forever changed the fate of two men. Krelian, who followed closely under her as the leader of the Nissan Sex militia, completely lost faith after calling out to a god that would not respond. I will create God with my own hands, were the last words he uttered before he disappeared. And Lacan, he resented himself for not having the power to do anything while she died in front of him. So he began to search for the legendary power. Legendary power. I see you two have studied the Metal Gear Solid means of dialogue. Metal Gear Solid. Sorry. The Metal Gear Solid theory of dialogue is that one person just always has to repeat something that the other person said, but in the form of a question, in order to get more information. That's all it takes. God's resting place, Mahanan. The source of divine wisdom, Razael. And the anima relics, which were created by that very wisdom. Besides these, there is one more legend. And that is... Zohar. Zohar. It's the same name as the Zohar Madhar. The power reactor that Miang spoke of. Saying it was the infinite energy source of God, Deus. What she claimed is also the source of our ether powers, and the driving force of all our gears. It would have to be one and the same. It is the place that contains the ultimate source of this world's power. It is said that only he who has the correct destiny will be able to discover its location. Losing all faith in humanity, Lacan sought after its power. And Lacan became Groff. And the world collapsed. This tragedy happened because of the people's lust for power. I must take part of the responsibility for not having been able to stop it. And now, Faye, one who has the same power as Groff. We just wanted to seal up that dreadful power that arose from our own sinful deeds. Man. Man, we could have had like a whole sequel series, or prequel series too. Would have been great. Would have been great. Groff, the man once known as Lacan, sought after the power of Zohar. The one who has the same power as Groff. Faye. I had this premonition that Faye, too, would awaken and seek out that power. And that presentiment became reality. Spooky in here. It's all dark and purple. Uh-oh. Where am I? Who am I? This is my memory. Doc. Bart. Rico. Billy. Wiseman. Groff. Everyone. My memories. Ellie. Mother? Ooh, shiny. Who are you? I'm surprised. It's pretty clever. You were... id? I misjudged you. I didn't expect you, the fake personality, would create a fourth persona. Fourth persona? You can't feel anything. You shut up inside your ego. Pressing facts and truths you won't face. You're afraid of them, so you desire to completely shut yourself off from the world outside. And so you formed a fourth persona. A fourth Fae. Name doesn't matter. He's the one on the stage. He's the one who's in control of our body. But it is a useless form of resistance. Come with me. Wait! What are you doing? He has the key. I merely want to borrow it. I've got to go somewhere. Going to. Man, it's getting wild and metaphysical up in here. Oh, flashback. You know what? You know what? We'll start next episode with a flashback. Because, again, there's a lot going on. Also, Bart's ancestor is fucking hot. Let's be real. Anyway. Hope you all been enjoying yourselves. If you have, let me know down below, like, comment, subscribe. And we'll come back next time. And hope that things get better. Or easier to digest. One or the other, really. Till then, though. You'll have to subscribe to stay. That's the next adventure. Later.